All right, friends, you know what it is. It's book review time. This book, The Coaching Habit, is kind of all over the map in terms of reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. It averages a 4, but I'm going to give it a little bit higher grade than that. The subtitle of the book is Say Less, Ask More, and Change the Way You Lead Forever. One of the things that I kind of zoomed out and I thought about this book, and my opinion of this is you might be thinking of the title and say, well, Chris, I'm not a coach. I'm not a leader. I don't think you need to be a coach to read this book because guess what? I believe everybody's a coach already, whether you're a parent, a youth sports coach, whether you're a teacher at school, or you really are a business leader, a CEO, an entrepreneur. You are leading at minimum. You lead your clients. You lead the people you work with, even if you're just on a team and you technically work for other people. And the premise of this is really to get out of the muscle of just offering advice. He calls it the advice monster. And I want to read a couple things that I thought was really interesting that were big takeaways for me. Toward the beginning of the book, he says, to build an effective new habit, you need 5 essential components: a reason, a trigger, a micro habit, effective practice, and a plan. Now, big thing for me here is obviously you need the self-awareness first, but ultimately, if you're going to make any plans of changing, you have to want that. You have to have the self-awareness that something's wrong. And then more importantly, you have to have a plan. If you want to get from point A to B and B to C, you have to have an effective plan. So throughout this book, there is a lot of great resources. There's a lot of opportunity to write down your findings and the things that you want to work on or need to work on. I love the framework that he provides, whether it be asking questions and so on. And so to me, this is an easy read. It's a fun read. It's very accessible. And what I mean by that is, for whatever reason, I am not a big fan of books that are a word salad. In other words, they're academia, they pontificate. And at the end of the day, the best things in business, the best things in marketing and in leadership are messages that are simple. And this is a very simple book. It's very cleanly written. And because of that, this is something that you could probably get through if you're a fast reader in 2 or 3 days. And if you're kind of an average reader like me, busy kids, it'll probably take you about 5 or 6 days to get through. And it was pretty enjoyable because there were so many really good gold nuggets there without having to be complex. So it was very refreshing for me. I want to read you kind of these 6 questions that he talks about. And he finishes a lot of the sentences with, and what else? And the whole premise of this is to get away from the trap of offering advice, which myself, I have no problem talking. In fact, it's probably a problem. And so if you fall into that trap of always rushing to advice, this is going to be, I'm going to say, masterful for you. And there are 7 questions. He says the kickstart question, which is what's on your mind. Number 2 is the awe question, where he says, and what else? So once you get that answer, what else? You want to get people to continue to go, because so often when you're asking questions, a lot of us are like, oh, I guess I have the answer for that already. I just didn't think about it that way. So framing questions can help other people navigate to the answer as if they found it, rather than if the leader gave it to them. That's why asking questions is so powerful. Number 3 is the focus question, which is, what's the real challenge for you here? Number 4 is the foundation question, where he asks, what do you want? Meaning, what do you want to get out of this? Where do you want to go? Number 5 is the lazy question, which is, how can I help with that? How can I help? Number 6 is the strategic question. If you're saying yes to this, what are you saying no to? So if you want to do X, what are you going to get rid of? If you want to go here, what are you going to stop doing? Because most of us are already full. We already have enough stuff going on in our life. And number 7, the final question, is the learning question. What was most useful for you here? So if you're going to wrap up a coaching session, a listening session, what is it that was most useful? Let's put a bow on this conversation. Let's recap so that you know and I know what were the biggest takeaways here for you. And then ultimately, when I look at this book, there are a lot of great resources or a lot of great links, but there's a lot here that is really good. This is approximately 200 pages, a little over that. But because there are some big font and there are some pages with big quotes, it ends up being about 2/3 of that. If you like the book, I'm going to recommend reading this second. This is Michael Bungay Steiner's. I even said that right. I apologize if I mispronounced his name. I'm not perfect. This is very much a follow-up to that. It's called The Advice Trap. I do believe that's second in the mix. I'm going to wrap this up with a review. I'm going to give this book a 4.8. That's a pretty high review, but if you're into something that's going to be easy to read, it's fun, it's joyful, a lot of great nuggets. I don't care if you're a CEO of a $100 million company, or you're an up-and-coming entrepreneur, or maybe you're a student trying to figure out what you want to do. There is so much in here that I think is very practical and easy to implement. And so I'd highly recommend the book. I gave it a 5 on my Goodreads account, and I think you're going to love it. I really do. This is a phenomenal book. I don't care what other people say. This is going to go probably pretty close to my top 10. And I know I've been saying that about some books lately, but it was good. It's well worth it. If you enjoyed these book reviews, I got a lot more coming in the queue. I've got other on our YouTube channel, so check them out. Let me know what you think. Give me your opinion. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching.